hearing. Is it Parliament? Welcome to order. We have, looking at it anyways, I guess we got the right number. How about roll call? Invocation.
So do invocation and pledge first.
Oh, that's right. Right. We thank you, O Lord, for all that you have given us. I've been reading a lot about God and what God really is. And one of the things that comes out is God is a source of energy and a sense of strength when things are hard, when things are tough. And I have found that to be very, very helpful. And I think that we need that around here. This is not an easy operation to make. We are providing service to a growing number of people. And it's God that will help us along the way to understand how to be of strength for that. And with that, I would say amen. Thank you.
Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag
of the United States of
of the States of
America,
America.
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Elijah. We need you here, Elijah.
I know.
A really cool, dark, deep voice.
It's a good microphone, is all it is.
Do we have an agenda approval? Can people take a look at the agenda? Are there any changes in compliance? No, all those in favor of the agenda as it's written to us, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say nay. And now we're looking at the approval of the minutes. Roll call.
Oh, boy.
Does anybody have any changes made to the February 28th minutes last month?
Mr. Chair, let's do roll call first. We skipped roll call.
Skip over roll call. Yeah, please do that.
Go ahead, Marty.
Melissa Bilka,
Here.
Catherine D'Angelo, Daryl Igoff,
Here.
Lily Jean Johnson,
Here.
Marvin King,
Here.
Elijah Method,
Present.
Bob Sheehan,
Here.
Bernard Silverman,
Here.
Nicholas Twig,
Here.
Randall Wallace.
Do we have a
We have a quorum.
sufficient number?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now let's go take a look at the approval of the minutes. Would I have a motion in favor of the minutes? So moved. Second. Second. Ed, do we have any edits to the minutes? No edits. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Opposed, please say no. Okay. Acknowledgement of visitors, I'm looking around. I think everybody we need is here. Our usual Roberts
Yep, we do not have any
is not here.
visitors. No visitors.
So we have no visitors and that means we have no public comments. Committee reports, survey PAC committee. Nicholas, do you want to get us going?
Yes. The Service PAC Committee met last week, and we had some good discussions. One of the things I wanted, two main issues that we wanted to discuss today. One would be the Route 16 changes. We held off on making any decisions last time, so that we could get feedback from the meetings. The other thing we wanted to discuss here today would be the service. The
Organizational plan.
public,
Public comment for the.
yeah, we need yeah, the public comments, but also we want to look at the citizens advisory. So what I'd like to do is like turn it over to Brian, who has information.
Before you go, you mentioned Route 16. I know we delayed that because we had one more Georgetown meeting. I thought the minutes indicated you authorized the executive committee. Okay, did we make the
The
change?
board did authorize, and we did make the change on March 10th. March 10th, Sunday.
That means-
And so far, things are going pretty well. We had one lady who felt like she got stranded, and I guess we helped her figure out the new schedule, and I haven't heard anything more about that.
That vote needs a vote by the board.
So we need to sort of consummate.
Yes, the bylaws call any vote by the executive committee an interim vote.
Okay.
You know those bylaws.
I read it, man.
I've been around a while.
I read it. I'm not.
Okay, so then we need a motion from, if it comes to committee, does it need a motion?
No, I don't think it needs a second.
So
I
you
think
just
we
need,
need to state the motion.
so from committee, the motion was to implement that service change to the Route 16, which essentially removes at least one trip from the afternoon. It does alter service on Route 7. It moves a 7X inbound to a 7X in the morning to a 7X outbound at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:20. And we went through the public involvement process without too much fanfare.
You can just ask for a vote on that.
You want to turn that into a vote?
Yeah,
Really,
it needs to be a vote.
it's moved and seconded.
I'd like to make a motion
Yeah, there you go.
that the
I
board
just want to know
accepts-
what the motion is so that it can be
Yeah,
read into the,
I'd like to make a motion that the full board accepts the recommendation for the executive committee made last week.
okay?
For Route 16.
yeah. I'll second that, although I probably shouldn't because I'm running.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Do you have any questions or? All right, if you have something for that, we have a vote of the council, committee.
Us.
All those in
All
favor?
in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
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 All right.
So Dr. Cook and I spoke before the meeting, and we think kind of moving forward, there's a couple of things that we'll be working on. Obviously, between now and say the end of the summer, the biggest ticket item from Service Pack is going to be the organizational plan and the number of products that are coming out of that, not the least of which would be a transit development plan. We need to finish up the fare structure analysis and actually work towards an implementation plan of fare structure. And the first step in that is going to be doing an outreach type of program, which will be the perfect opportunity to resurrect and reconstitute the Citizens Advisory Group. And so that will be the primary agenda item at the next Service Pack meeting, will be to kind of talk through all that. We'll have the folks from Kimley Horn at the meeting to sort of lay out that plan and kind of where we go from here as it relates to that. Staff is going to be working on data collection and analysis for customer service. We kind of got that kicked off at the last meeting. That will be topic for the May meeting. We'll be looking at some more data on customer service. That gives staff a little bit of time to kind of figure out exactly what we're generating and what what some of the trends are. Back to the organizational plan, I forgot to mention that the public involvement process, in addition to service priorities, fare structure analysis, will also be entertaining Ride 4 conversations on what our priorities should be moving into a successful Ride 4 program, hopefully, which we can talk about in finance. I think that, do you have anything else to add to that? Dr. Cook?
No, I did want something previous to that, though. on the citizens meetings and stuff. We had an accident on Route 14. Did you have anything on that?
Route 14.
Highway 14.
We haven't had any, anything major that invokes the procedure where I inform the board. Everything's been fender bender type stuff. We did have, we were running some parking shuttles in North Myrtle Beach over St. Patrick's Day weekend, and a pedestrian was struck by a mirror. But it was a situation where the pedestrian sort of zigged when he should have zagged, and kind of even admitted after he hit it that, oh, that was my fault. So it didn't really warrant anything, although we were a little bit nervous there for a little bit. Anytime you hear a pedestrian involved, you get a little bit shaky. Other than that, kudos to operations. I honestly don't know how they do it, knock on wood. We've been doing pretty well on that front.
Okay. That's all I had.
Did you see that in the paper, by the way? How did you see it in the newspaper?
Yeah,
How did you learn?
Yeah, somebody gave me a call.
Well, we did make the newspaper.
Oh, not
Okay,
that.
good.
Not that.
If something made the paper, I'd like to.
yeah,
I'd like
we
to know.
would let you guys
Okay,
know.
gotcha. Thank you.
There was one thing in the paper last week. The guy started out at Coast and then walked down Third Avenue drunk, a bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
It was the Independent, but it really wasn't involved us at all.
Right. Yeah, a little bit of that. The only other thing from Service Pack I'll mention to all board members is if you know somebody who would be a good candidate for the Citizens Advisory Group, we'd love to hear from you. We're gonna try to put out some invitations on that and see who we can get. That's something that will be on Lauren's documents to try to figure out who's gonna be on that.
Just to emphasize a little bit, Citizens Advisory, we would like to get writers, if at all possible.
Okay?
So I just put that out because I believe the way it's written up is that each of the board members would nominate someone to serve on that committee. And I'm asking the board members that might know anyone that wants, that would be good to serve. So let's try to weigh ourselves a little bit more toward writers. If at all possible.
What kind of timing would we be looking for in terms of when they would get together, how long they would last, and how often they would last?
I think we'll discuss that at future meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think from my perspective, and certainly the committee can weigh in on it, is it's kind of like a quarterly kind of feel. Although to start off, we might do a little bit more often than that because we've got a lot of information going to be flowing as a result of the organizational plan.
Yeah, I don't want to reach out trying to recruit someone if I don't know what the commitment's going to be. But they would meet in your meeting or in the meeting, this meeting?
I think it would be separate. I mean, it would be, and obviously there'd be some service pack representation at the Citizens Advisory Committee meetings,
Gotcha.
group, Citizens Advisory Group, whatever we're calling it.
I think we
That's
should.
probably the first thing, is what are we gonna call it?
The
The
bylaws,
first item on the
Oh, we
agenda.
already know.
the bylaw says committee.
It
I
does?
reported in the last minute, said bylaws were changed to Citizens Advisory Committee. The minutes we just approved, it's in there.
Okay. Well, there you go.
At least I dreamed it when
It's
I read it
named.
last night.
I think we should nail down the amount of time we expect from those people before we go asking them to put themselves into time. So if it's quarterly, if that makes sense, if it's 2 hour, if it's quarterly during the lunchtime, or if it's at an evening kind of thing, those are kind of the things we've got to clean out before we get people to log down.
Yes, me, there's some things I have to look at. We had a Citizens Advisory Committee before. I was gonna ask if we had any paperwork on that, whether they had their a discussion on who was on the board, what they was, who was on that committee and what they were supposed to do. And I don't know if we have any of that in the archives. I was
Yeah.
gonna look back through mine.
That would be a big dig, but we can maybe look into it.
Pam Creech and Bo Ives, but they're.
Yeah, I can call Bo. Yeah.
He gave a very good recap of our situation at that, League of Women Border panel discussion. He went back to about how old this building was and, really, he spoke for about 3 minutes of, he hadn't forgotten how bad things are here.
Cool.
Where would those documents be kept?
Well, I think we have some on our server. We just have to look for it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't, we haven't really deleted anything, so we're getting ready to do a bit of a purge. So I would imagine they'll crop up once we try to do that purge, because we're moving the whole organization to OneDrive. So we'll see how that goes.
And I have one whole drawer with that.
Oh, that's true. You were around for that, yeah.
Way back when, yeah.
Okay, any other questions about,
Sure.
tax? All right, let's move on to our employee fund committee, finance committee.
Thank you, Chairman. I don't have a lot to say about the financials this week because they're really going to be modified in the budget revision that's coming up in another few minutes. I will say that the cash requirements fall at the first of the month both times, and they rise again just as quickly, so that's good. Ridership is down a little bit, paratransit is up a little bit, and all the things that are out of line at all on the income statement will be changed today with the budget revision. Overall, expenses are 2% over, I guess, or down. I'm not sure what to say that.
2% over budget.
2% over budget.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's 2% is a small number, but of $8.5 million, it's enough that we need a budget revision. I'm going to talk about the budget revision. There are really two reasons that we need to have the budget revision. One is to get these income statement items back in line. And the other is to satisfy a requirement of the county in our budget, in our funding agreement, which calls for us to have 5% of our operational budget in an O&M reserve, which we do not have right now. So both of these things, we need budget revision, and we really need the budget revision today, in one way or another, form or another, because the county has given us till the end of March. The budget revision that's in your package, in your packet, was approved by the financial committee last month. So we are ready to advance that, to recommend that it be voted upon. Yeah, that's right, last week, you're right about that. Okay, so looking at that, the items that need to be changed, added money to is overtime transit, overtime maintenance, vehicle maintenance and telecommunications. And the ones that we are cutting back are the van pool and transit salaries. So all of that will leave us with about $250,000 above budget. We're going to add to that $25,000 for the parcel expenses, things like appraisals, things like that. $10,000 local match for the transit development survey or onboard survey, and $74,000 for the local match to Fort Transit. The expenses are going to be covered by an increase to in 5311 and 5307 funding. And in the end, we'll have $104,000, almost $105,000 above budget. So if there's
That was amazing.
Thank you. I worked at it.
Unfortunately, I put a slide up here that lays it out. And I think the only thing I would add to what you said is that there is a little bit of a timing crunch as it relates to when the county's bringing this up and when the county and when we're doing it. Because I did go to admin committee yesterday at Horry County to kind of go through this budget. And I was just thinking about trying to lay it out for the board a little bit easier. And I built a slide this morning and stuck it into the board packet. So it's on your iPads if you want to go look at it, but I have it up on the screen. And it just lays out exactly what you just said. Although the only difference is in the original budget revision discussion, I was really only focused on what the local matches were for some of these projects. And in this thing, I've added the total cost of the project. So overall, our budget is going from, our operating budget is going from 8.42 million to 8.68 million, which is an increase of 254,000, which is hasn't changed. It's primarily engines and powertrain packages for 2 Navi buses is the primary increase in expense, although as Bernie said, we're smoothing out some of the other income statement line items. It changes our contribution to the local government investment pool, which is our O&M reserve, by $90,000. Adds another 90,000 above and beyond the 120 that we had in the original estimate, and that was critical to what we talked about with the Horry County yesterday. And they've actually given us until June 30th of next year, the end of their fiscal year, to get to our $430,000 target for O&M. I think there may be some tweaks to that as we look at, what's happening with our operating cost. But that's, I'm not sure if it'll go up or down depending on how things kind
Might
of.
go up 5% of that difference.
Right. So we need to think about what that number ought to be. We need $50,000 for an onboard survey. We need, let's see, what is that total? About 676,000 in paratransit vehicle purchases, 4 transits and 2 cutaways. And the money for those are coming from 2 different sources. We got a little over 300,000 in the 5310 elderly and disabled transportation fund from GSATs. We're going to use about 277 of that. And then we're going to use 296,000 in 5339 formula funds, urban formula funds, in order to pay for that. So you'll see that there's a modest difference between those numbers. Say 676 in expense, and we're bringing in about, what is that? Little less than 600,000 in federal dollars to pay for it. So there's a chunk of local match going out the door related to that. And then there's $25,000 in parcel due diligence. This is our survey that has to be done before we put in an offer on it, and another appraisal for FTA to meet FTA regulations. So total change in expense is a little under $1.1 million. Most of that's vehicles, but that's a pretty healthy chunk of change. And we are bringing in 1.2 million, a little over 1.2 million in additional funds related to these projects, including the operation. So that actually leaves us a net change of about a little over 100, or a little under 110,000 in play with the budget.
So it's what you've done on this, opposed to what you've done on the first one is added and then subtracted the federal monies.
I think it was a little confusing the way I presented it before, because I was really only talking about it in terms of local match.
Right.
And so there are federal dollars coming in for those bus buys,
And they'll be going out.
and we'll just pass it through.
It didn't come in at an expense.
So that 1 million, the 1,095,000 is both operating and capital.
Right.
And so, yeah, there's funds coming in for the capital side.
Well, I would ask Finance Committee and that whole board if they have any questions before we take this to a vote. I mean, I think the county likes it, the Finance Committee likes it, Brian likes it. I think it's the best we can do. And I think not only is it the best we can do, I think it's a fabulous job.
Harry there yesterday, he wasn't the one 2 weeks ago. Ivy, was he?
Yes, yeah, this is his committee. And it looks like they're gonna move us to admin committee permanently. I'm not sure why, but it doesn't matter. Most of what we bring to them is financial and less about infrastructure, like
Yeah.
when you're talking about all different sorts of stuff on an IR.
Airports and.
It doesn't matter to me.
Before we bring this to a vote, I got one more thing I want to talk about in finance, and this is just from upcoming things that we're going to be working on. We're going to be working on a financial plan, and we're going to start that in April. Transit development plan, I don't know how much of that we're going to be doing, but that's going to be upcoming. The annual budget, the fare study, the visa program with the future card, which is having a little trouble getting off the ground. And the staff will be working on triennial. And so, all those things are coming up.
Before you go to the vote, you mentioned two things in your opening comments. I'd like to make comment on. Is that okay, Chair?
Yes.
You talked about the cash requirements. June the 5th, we went down to $10,000. 2 days later, we got money. What if that 10,000 would have put us in the red? What do you use, delay paying a vendor for a few days? Is that how you handle it?
There's a litany of things that we do
You
to,
don't
there's
want
a,
a reserve account though, right?
try not to.
Okay. All right, that's the right answer you're gonna get. Gotcha.
I mean, but honestly, we would if we had to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this way, 2
Yeah.
days, you could easily take a,
Yeah, we
One
will
vendor-
delay a check run.
that's why you pay Marty the big money.
Yes,
So-
that's exactly right.
Second thing you mentioned, ridership was down. Somewhere in one of the notes, right? Is ridership really down or due to fare box problems? We had more riders than what's showing up in the data? How significant is that? You think?
Yeah, I don't know that I have an answer for that yet.
It could be some.
I think there's some degradation. I mean, we've got to shore up our passenger counting data collection.
But demand
Sure.
response should be accurate.
Oh, that's
Okay,
on the numbers.
good deal. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to make a motion that,
Get a request over there.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, on the original budget, we were on the overtime. Said we were gonna discuss it in this budget revision and what we did with the overtime budget. I was just wondering, did we hire any more full-time people, or we running all part-time people, or temporary people? Or-
Well, there's a couple things at work there. One, I made a mistake in the original budget by, I mean, our budget in FY '23 was closer to 230,000 for the year. And I knocked it down to 167 because staff told me we had plenty of drivers. And they lied through their teeth, but,
Doug,
it's all Doug's fault. But so in this budget revision, all I'm doing is taking 80,000 out of the regular transit salaries and benefits and moving it to overtime to kind of relax the overage on overtime. But then the other part of this is the service change. It results in anywhere from 150 to 175,000 in reduction in labor costs. And so that should tie in the general salaries and benefits should finish closer to budget. That doesn't answer your question. We are constantly hiring drivers. And we've had 5 or 6 that we've actually trained and gotten their CDLs. And so we're organically, as best we can, growing drivers from the pool. So that's resulting in a little bit of turnover, especially in paratransit. You know, we bring in somebody who doesn't have a CDL and they drive paratransit while they're working on the CDL, and then we graduate them up to transit. I would say we're still probably 4 drivers short, 4 or 5 short
Full-time,
to optimum. Yeah, it's hard to get anybody on board if you're not saying full time. And so then, and we're in that crunch right now where we got to get a few more on board for the summer.
how do you still short one, maintenance person?
I am. I've made some arrangements there. I took a part-time and moved them up to full-time, so I have currently 7 mechanics.
Do we have a history of getting school district drivers in the summer?
We do, that's gone down a little bit, but we still bring what, 4 over? 3 over
Okay,
every summer. We still have that issue of bridging from Memorial Day to the end of school
yeah,
and from the beginning of school to Labor Day, which keeps, those gaps keep widening. So it's not as beneficial a program as you'd like, but they do eat up some hours on the train, on the entertainment shuttles in the summertime, for sure.
What's the starting wage for the drivers? CDO.
Where are we at?
17.
They're right at $17.
Did it go up in 90 days though? After 90 days,
Not at the moment. We're starting them there. We have a compensation plan coming up here this summer that we need to talk about that.
we're still higher than the school system though. The 17 is better than the starting
The school
salary.
system will bring you in higher if they count what experience the entry person has.
We don't do that.
No, but that's probably one thing that we'll consider moving forward, to help with that.
And we still have the CDL scholarship type of.
Well, we will help somebody get their CDL and we ask them to sign a 1-year tenure agreement. 1-year tenure, so we get at least a year of service from them, or they have to pay us back.
And we pay for them.
Yeah, I don't know if we have any numbers on how much it costs us to
Is it more?
do that. I mean, we're using up some labor. I can bring that to service pack if you want, just on kind of what
Yeah.
that program looks like.
I have a request of all of the board members that they would frequently touch bases over here with Bernie on the savings that we have to have in order to come June of 2025, in order to be at peace with our requirements and the council's expectations. So if every board meeting or every other board meeting, there'd be some kind of a discussion as to how we are doing, how are we moving ahead. This isn't something we want to come at last minute. We want to understand December of 2024, where we are relative to going into June of 2025. And if we could have that be in the minutes, it'd be something that Bernie holds as an important part of the financial committee's plan. That would be great.
Well, along those lines, we made a deposit of 24,000 yesterday in the LGIP.
Yep.
It catches us up through February and March. I think, yes, February, March.
Yeah.
So the total balance is a little over 100,000.
All right, are we ready for a vote? Bernie? Yeah.
So you want me to read the resolution?
Yes.
Waccamaw Regional Transportation Authority Resolution Number MAR 2024-02, approval of the FY24 revised budget. A motion of the Board of Directors for the Waccamaw Regional Transportation Authority to approve the FY24 revised budget.
Okay,
I think you can just ask for a vote. because
all
it
those
came
in
out-
favor or
Needs discussion.
Yeah.
That's for discussion.
no discussion that I can hear? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say oh. All right, so the board has officially approved the budget change. Let's go ahead.
And so we will most likely be appearing on consent agenda at the next council meeting on April 3rd. So there's a couple of other things I just wanted to bring up with the board as it relates to finance committee. Let me see if, one thing that occurred, in March is that the tax commission for RIDE 4 finish their proceedings. See if I can pull this up. Does that switch over to the
Mhm.
question text for you guys online?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a copy of the draft Horry County Special Sales Tax, Sales and Use Tax, Transportation Tax ballot question for this November. The commission has, this is what the commission is going to bring to council, most likely at their April 16th meeting. I would imagine that will be a subject of quite a bit of discussion, but there's a couple things in here that I just wanted the board to be aware of. First and foremost, if you take out all of the road numbers and state route numbers and highway numbers and all that, there in years, there are only two dollar amounts or two numbers related to dollar amounts in this question. The first one is right there in that first paragraph of $6.35 billion, which is what the upset amount is for sales tax proceeds. So if right now the growth projections suggest that this sales tax will generate actually closer to 5.5 billion in revenue. And the question states that the county will be imposed in Horry County, or the tax will be imposed in Horry County for not more than 25 years or until a total amount of funding is generated. So you'll notice that they did not use 5.5 billion as that number. They kind of hedged their bet a little bit and went up to 6.35 billion. So that would exceed what their growth rate, the projected growth rate would be. That's in the overall scheme of things, that's such a crapshoot on exactly, what could happen. But I would imagine that at least for the next 5 years, first 5 years of this program, that it should exceed the 4% growth rate. But that isn't the thing. The other number is down here at the bottom of page 1, and this is the only thing that ties an amount of dollars to a project line item is the last bullet, or second to last bullet on page 1, mass transit, using 5.45% annually going to mass transit. So this is a line item for our O&M costs, future capital costs, and it ties 5.45% of total proceeds from that revenue generation to Coast RTA. So that means it's got growth in it.
Can you clarify? I thought there was a separate funding line for the new building.
That's the bullet above it. Bus maintenance complex in Myrtle Beach, passenger station in Myrtle Beach, passenger station in Conway. That in the overall budget has 25 million attached to it, above and beyond the 5.45%.
Okay.
The point I'm trying to make is that they are assigning a percentage of proceeds. So what that means for us is that we get growth in the revenue. It also means that if there's a turn southward, that we have to be able to plan for that. But that is not what any of the other line items have. So to me, that's a huge success for Coast
About
RTA.
7.2 million.
It starts out at 7.25 million roughly.
And we're getting now how much?
2.5 million. So it from Horry County.
Yeah.
And then this is the city, with the city's dollars go away too. So that's really about 3.1 million total from Horry County local jurisdiction.
3.1.
So it is more than double what we get. So that is definitely going to be helpful. It's not what we were looking for. And it's the county's number. We were never really afforded an opportunity to give them a number that we thought we needed to meet regional needs. But I think just kind of talking through how this is going to work, there will be opportunity in the future to move that number or augment that number if something happens with another project, because we're now a project
We're
that
shovel,
has a line item.
we're shovel ready too.
Right, and we're shovel ready. So we'll see. I mean, I think there are so many projects in this that are backloaded. You know, there's $1.6 billion for they're calling it the South Carolina 22 extension, which is the old cell. Is that mine? Doing that?
That's mine.
Oh, okay. I think that project, because of the sensitive land that it's going to be going through, I don't see it getting built in 25 years. So there may be a windfall from that project for other projects.
Brian, I have a
uh,
question.
uh,
Brian.
yes,
is this-
ma'am.
Is this for 25 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Beginning from May 1st of 2025, assuming a positive vote in November. This is going on referendum in the November election on November 5th.
If you think, around November, we need to have, because what if this referendum fails? Not for today, but lots of things change.
Right. So the only other thing I wanted to say about the question is that I-73, or a interstate connector to I-95, has got some interesting language, and they will provide up to 1/2 of the construction cost of the portion that's within Horry County.
If
If it gets built, then they'll assign dollars to it. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, the most important thing is only if the Marion County portion
Right.
has a signed contract.
Right.
We're not gonna give them the money to be to nowhere.
Right.
Stop at Marion County line.
So that's another project that may end up having some windfall. We'll see. But I thought that was interesting that the only one that's got a dollar amount essentially tied to it are the mass transit line and the total for the project, the tax itself. Two other points I want to make to the board. One, the FY25 budget is going to be very interesting, to say the least. It'll be a little bit of a state in flux in terms of where the dollars are coming to get through it. I think at this point, we're looking at only 3/4 of a year in road use fees. Again, I'm not counting chickens before they hatch, but if this referendum is successful, the state starts collecting sales tax revenues on May 1st, but they don't release the first allocation until October 15th. So there's a bridge there that we'll need to figure out kind of moving forward. But, we could, in accrual accounting, account for some number for sales tax beginning May 1st. Again, if the referendum is successful. So that just makes for a very interesting thing. I think targeting essentially what we could do if we had a full year road use fee will be the conservative approach. And then whatever happens on the sales tax side, we could hopefully, we'll either do a budget revision or we'll just throw it into the local government investment pool.
I know their expectation is they stop giving us the $6.50 road use. Where in writing does that say that's gonna happen? They can continue to give us that money. I haven't been to any meeting where they said, I think they assume we stop getting it.
Yeah, no, I think that's always been the assumption. But I think also the assumption is that it would continue if it fails, if the referendum fails.
I'm talking about those 3 months, they can continue after one more quarter to bridge the gap. Or you can get into your $400,000 reserve fund.
Right. We'll see. We'll see.
But I have not seen anything in writing. I think the assumption, the expectation is that stops, but I haven't seen anything in print.
Strategically, we will do exactly what we did this year, and that is we'll use some FY25 5307 funds, and we'll have the second year of our 2-for-1 deal to kind of shore up the federal side of it. And so I'm kind of thinking it's like a status quo kind of budget for FY25 at this point. And then everything that you'll see coming out of the organizational plan sort of assumes a start date of October of 25, so FY 26 for us.
I have a question. You talk about organizational plan, financial plan, and transit development plan. Are they all three different things?
The transit development plan is a 5-year look at what services do we need to provide, what services will we implement. But it will be based on a successful referendum at this point. And it is part of our funding agreement. So I would love to get it before, we turn off the spigot on the road use fees. And I don't think there's any issue with it. The financial plan to me is a 6-year outlook. That's a requirement of our triennial. So I've got to get
That's what we're working on next.
a new one that's also going to assume a successful referendum because those dollars are reasonably available. And then what was the other one that you mentioned?
Organizational plan.
The organizational plan is sort of the overarching plan for transit. It incorporates the human service transportation side of the house. It incorporates a fare structure analysis, and it's a 25-year look at, transit needs.
So these are three different things. Are any of them covered by the work of GSATs and can we work on?
They're all covered by that. I had a meeting with them, I think it was yesterday. Today's Wednesday, right? Yesterday, where we talked about what that 6-year plan looks like. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have the draft of that plan for Finance Committee at your next meeting.
Okay.
And it'll incorporate some assumptions on what's happening with road use fee and sales tax.
Just one more comment. Brian said that this was not our number, this was the county's number, and it's not what we were looking for and so forth. But I think the reason that we're getting what we're getting is council's confidence in Brian. I don't think there's any question about that. Not me, there isn't.
The consultants have been like, I called them Jimmy Cricket online. It's like, this is awesome, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming around.
And what's the Jiminy?
Well, they were just, I was, well, certainly when it first went down in the March meeting, or no, in the February meeting where it looked like that's kind of where we were going to land, I was disappointed. I didn't really feel like we got our true day in court. But it is a movement in the right direction for sure.
And I'm going to look up Jiminy Cricket, what that means.
Jiminy Cricket is Pinocchio's conscience.
Yep.
In Disney movies.
Yeah, I remember the name.
He's always like very happy and outgoing.
He's got young kids, cancer. Who chairs the admin committee?
Everybody asked me that. Tyler Servant. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine.
He's also the vice chair of GSATs.
Yeah.
You know that?
So,
Yeah, you told me that last time. Yeah, I'm surprised about that.
well, that's all I had on finance.
Yeah,
That's
but
being recorded too.
And I'm finished with.
one more
finance.
item on finance. In the unlikely event that this guy here is both chair and head of finance, we will be one person short in the finance commission, the way I do it and the way he's thinking about it.
I think we need to probably bring in somebody to do finance.
Well, either bring in somebody who knows a lot about finance or wants to learn about a lot about finance fast between next June in
Did
particular.
Marvin chair of finance, he's president also?
No.
He did? You were chair back then too?
Marvin was chair and Bernie was chair of finance.
That's right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Gotcha.
So
So
I'm
we'll
kind
have
of
to figure that out.
Yeah,
throwing the door open to the members that are listening. Just about everybody's here with the exception of Kitty, I think.
Yep.
But we need one more person, most likely by the end of the day, or someone who wants to be at the end of the day on that committee. That's an important committee. It doesn't have to be done face to face.
Right.
Zooming would work, but it has to be done regularly and once a month.
We will need to take care of that for sure. I'm just putting the agenda back up.
Okay. Any other, comments on finance committee? No? All right, we've already voted. So we go to compensation committee.
Ryan says he will have his list of accomplishments done by July 1st. That gives July and August to do the
Right.
evaluations.
And I've got a file at home,
I'll get it.
that I will get to, of the, ad hoc committee. Anything else?
Nothing on bylaws, and I understand that we do not need a change for anything on the Citizens Advisory Committee necessarily at this point.
Okay.
We'll figure out what's going on with it. So
All right,
so
old
no
business?
changes on that.
Any old business?
I have a couple. Last meeting, Nick asked for an update on customer complaints. Does that come up later in your report?
It came up in service
Yeah.
pack. It was very initial data. We're working on a plan sort of moving forward to start getting
We
trend
haven't rolled that
information.
in yet.
But we probably won't bring that up until the May service pack meeting. I need staff needs a little bit of time to figure out what we're doing.
Melissa brought up the need for more marketing to the employers downtown. We didn't set a timeline for that, but I don't know if you'll put the master project list, kind of review or something, so we don't, because she asked, you made a very good comment, Melissa. So I don't know where that sits and when we're getting around to doing it.
Well, in the general manager report, I was going to take a look at the project listing so we can add.
Oh, good. I think I found the voting.
Well, and we also discussed, Brian was concerned about, or trying, I shouldn't say concerned, and then I'm putting words in your mouth, but the comment that Brian had when we were speaking about that was related to the technology or how we're going to handle bus passes. Because I think part of that discussion with employers is, do you know that these options are available? And there was some concern about having too many of those passes out there. Which I think we could still do some education, but that would be a really nice piece to have as a big topic as we're going in to try to speak with some additional employers.
So the folks who build our validators keep threatening. I haven't seen it yet. They keep threatening that we will have the capability of reading a barcode. And that barcode could be on a ticket or on a phone app. And so I think you're right, Melissa, that's something that's critical that we have in place so that they can buy passes that way. There's still some questions whether or not the barcode would be good for more than one trip.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's going to be okay. The other part of that, sort of ancillary to that, is that we will be installing driver consoles with the validators so that they can also set rates. So we will be able to get past some of the other limitations associated with the validators, like if there's a family of 4 getting on, they don't have to tap 4 times and hit the daily cap and then get on. Whereas we can set it up, okay, this is 4 rides and just 1 tap and go, type of thing. So yes, and that's probably the biggest open-ended item on the fare structure analysis, is to get us the technology. We need to address what's happening with taking cash. We need to make sure that our projections for fare collection match up with what's in the financial plan. And then this is like, okay, how are we going to advance and get more complexity in our fare structure now, with the technology that we're using. And I think it's all doable. It's just a matter of getting in there and figuring it out. So Kuba is getting ready to roll out the barcode thing. They're already well on the way to being able to supply driver consoles. Maybe this is a way we start counting passengers again. You know, there's a lot of things.
What's the hardware cost for the consoles?
between 30 and 40,000
The whole fleet.
for everything. And so that is in our, that's kind of, we have 90,000 left in our ARPA grant. That's where that's money's coming
I
from.
thought it was 5,900. I thought it's CARES Act. There's close to 6,000 left there, right? Did I read that right, Ron? One of your slides?
Yeah,
CARES money.
we use the,
We spent 98% of the CARES Act money. I think there's like $5,900.
Oh, yeah, that's just,
IT.
IT expenses that are left over. We spend it all in 1 month as operating.
Is it going there? We have a zero, we zeroed
Yes,
out here.
yeah, except for that little bit of IT money. So we always get a bunch of it to match these grants that are as part of these grants, and we have a hard time.
If you spent 98% of that, I was worried that Washington was trying to pull that stuff back. So
Yeah,
that's
no.
good.
Every grant you do at FTA, you have to have 1% set aside for IT and security.
So we have 2%.
So, so yeah, it's,
I can't remember.
It's
That's
a
a
requirement.
100% money. I think was it September? No, it would have been, was it this year?
so we haven't used the IT
Portion I used it's like $5,400
Yeah,
or
we'll
something
use it.
out of
No problem.
350,000. So
Mike, do we have anything else for old business? Anything for new business?
One thing is just for Grissom Parkway land, I was down that way yesterday, right next to our parcel, there was digging in the ground, big heavy equipment up there, I'm not sure what's being built there, but closer to Joe White, but not too far from where our land is.
might be, just, clearing out the, stormwater
Oh,
retention,
Okay.
would be my guess.
It was more than cutting weeds though.
Yeah, that stormwater pond empties right into where they're stored.
Okay.
So they're just making sure that that's ready for hurricane season. Sure.
Okay, Brian, you're up for general manager's report.
So I guess a couple things. One, we owe the Georgetown County, I guess they're their tax commission. They're doing the capital projects tax. Any projects have to be added. I'm planning on putting in for some money down the road for a transfer center in Georgetown County, as well as a bus buy. Those projects are due on April 1st, so it's by Friday. I have to get that in. It's an online process. It's actually quite nice, way better than Horry County's process, for sure. But they were nice enough to include me in that, and we'll put some projects in and see how the evaluation goes. Any questions on that? I'm not really sure of the project amounts yet, but obviously that's not as robust a program as Horry County, so we got to kind of think about what our ask is. And I have to get a conversation with Angela Christian just to let her know it's coming. Task. We are in the process of getting Ways and Means Committee in the State House to put about $500,000 into this year's budget to do an economic impact study for transit. We have Ways and Means Chair on board with it, as well as somebody who's gonna put the legislation in. This is House Budget 2, so we're in that area between. House has already delivered their original budget to the Senate. The Senate now comes back to House here in the next week or so, and then there'll be an opportunity for House to kind of tweak some of their numbers and address some of the adds that the Senate has added. And then it goes to conference committee. So we should be in that process. We'll see if that happens. I think one of the things that we're really looking at is the economic impact of non-emergency medical transportation, and a lot of the human service side of transportation and rural transportation initiatives. Will be a big part of that economic impact.
What did the bill sponsor is? Let me know later.
Yeah, I can
Nick,
forward you a
Nick
text.
Hudson, I'd like to know that.
Chandra, somebody? She's
I wouldn't know. But
yeah, she's on Ways and Means. But yeah, we'll I'll get you that information. I think that, we had our legislative reception in early March. Wasn't as well attended as last year, so we were a little disappointed about that. But we did some legislative awards this year. We gave John Scott, legislator out of Columbia, years and years and years, who recently passed away, posthumous award, just as we call it, a legacy award. And Task is going to, we've named it after John Scott, and future award winners will win the John Scott Transit Legacy Award. And then we actually paid tribute to a couple of legislators coming out of the Florence area, Mike Rickenbach, and the lady's name's gonna escape me, but yeah, it wasn't Cloud. I can look it up. I'm sorry, I should have had it written down, but I think that was all well received. I had a really good conversation with Senator Rickenbach about kind of what we're up to and what's going on. So that was always good to be able to have those conversations. And actually spent a lot of time chatting with the folks at the state, the new folks at the state, and kind of what they're up against, and so they're engaging us on a number of fronts that kind of help them shore up what they're trying to do and keep the money flowing, as it were. So kind of sealed the deal on the 2-for-1 and then the parcel acquisition grant. So those are two things that I'm working on with them. So then the only other thing I had is the project listing. Let me see if I do that, does that come up on? No. Sure the folks see it. So what were we just talking about, Daryl, that we needed to add?
The marketing to the employer.
Oh, yeah, marketing.
What services are available.
I think we kind of have we're ready for a marketing plan in general, but I'll put employers and others on here.
The definition of A is if you're going to start it before 6 months. That's what our definition goes.
Right. And so I have these, let's see here, I had one other down here that
And this is why this is important. If Brian gets killed in a bus crash, his replacement has a to-do list already available for him.
So yeah, I have these 5 projects that need to be added. I just wanted to kind of run through board consensus on these. Obviously, onboard survey is front and center. We want to get it done sometime, I think, beginning in the spring, but then kind of stretching into the summer when our ridership is at its height, and get some surveys on the entertainment shuttles as well. I have a customer service data collection plan and analysis task. That's mostly the stuff for what we're doing with Service Pack. Ridership by route added to the board report. That was something that was requested by Dr. Twig. We'll get that added in there. Get you another page. I think we're still on the hook for consolidating the grants into like a simpler look, so that we may be able to eliminate some pages by virtue of doing that. And then we talked about this marketing plan, and then I'm also kind of moving in to the sales tax era, that we probably ought to explore the possibility of doing some sort of annual report. And so I want to spend some time over the next few months. Maybe this is a B item, where it's like a 7 to 12 months type of thing, where we start delivering to the public an annual report on everything that we've done and how we've been using those tax dollars, and that sort of thing. And I think that's something that Big Boy Transit would do, and bring that back. But that's something that we ought to consider. So I want to get staff working on sort of developing that, what it would look like, how, obviously it would be delivered annually, but when would we deliver it? And obviously who would we send it to? Because I think there's a there's a long list of people that we want to send it to. So I'm not sure. I mean, the onboard survey is sort of an A by default. Just simply because we got to get it done before they shut down the organizational plans, and you know, we want to get data from this year. And there's a lot to be included in that, how people are paying their fare, how often they ride, getting a good understanding of what our typical rider looks like, you know, sort of the averaging. I think, you know, I kind of feel like that's somebody going to work, but maybe not, you know, maybe it's a different trip purpose type of thing. And will also help us kind of moving forward as we try to design some services.
Just working on that, Brent.
That
Will you remind me how that's completed? Is that through a piece of technology or somebody's literally on board with paper? How do you collect that information?
Yes. All of the above. I mean, I think that's something that we're going to have Kimley Horn put that out for, like I guess it wouldn't be an RFP, but it would be kind of a informal bid process to a number of firms that do this on a regular basis. I think most of them use electronic means by which, but it does involve people on the buses asking questions. It also involves doing proper counts. It also involves doing counts by GPS locations, on and off counts at stops. There's quite a bit of analysis that goes into it. And so the big thing is doing statistically valid data collection. So you're not doing necessarily everybody, certainly on the typical rider stuff and the fare collection stuff. But you do want to get accurate counts for each of the services. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I was just curious because I was like, well, I could probably go to the people that work in the company that ride the bus and have them complete surveys, but I don't know what's all involved in that. So if that's helpful at some point, just let me know.
Appreciate it. The customer service data collection, I think, is going to be a work in process, just because we're still trying to figure out the technology that we're using to bring it in and what it can and can't do. But I think that's an A as well, simply because we want to start moving towards that path on getting trend information on why people are calling and what type of things we can do to try to reduce the number of people calling. And you know, that'll also feed what's happening with the website and the app and kind of where we move forward on those things. Ridership by route is easy. We'll get that out there beginning next month, and I'll go back to October with ridership by route. So there'll be another page added after the KPIs that'll kind of lay out what the ridership's been by route.
Didn't we used to have that? I mean, I always remember Route 7 was always the biggest and 16 was the second busiest.
At one time it was there, yeah.
Yeah, we'll put it back. Marketing plan, that's a bigger ticket item. I think this might need to be a B, but put that out to you all. For those of you who don't know, Lauren's dad passed away last week, so she's not here today. Dealing with that. We certainly pray for her and her family. It was apparently pretty sudden. But I mean, that's going to be her front and center. And we do have a good crew that she's working with at T2H on that. Obviously, a big part of that is a second round of tap to the cap marketing and trying to encourage more people to use that method of payment. And then annual report development, I would recommend being a B as well. We'd want to probably put one out there, you know, right before any sales tax receipts hit the system. Any questions, thoughts, ideas? Are you okay with those recommendations? And I'll I'll edit this and put them in order, and it'll be on the board drive.
Yep, it's in there.
If not, nothing, then that concludes the general manager's report.
Okay. Do we have any request for executive session? Anything to put in the order?
I have one item, Melissa and Lily Jean. I'm looking at dates in early April for our ride, for the bus ride. And Lily Jean, I don't mind if you want to do Georgetown route, not Myrtle Beach. I can do a separate one, and we can do Georgetown as well as Myrtle Beach. So I'll get back to both of you and see what your calendar look like in early April.
Okay.
All right. Anything to the good of the order?
One question, I don't know if it's for good or what. Where do these films end up, these tapes that we're taping here?
They're stored. I don't think we're doing a very good job of getting them posted. But yeah, they're stored. We have them.
In somebody's bedroom.
We require,
Well, they're supposed to be online. We're working on it.
For how long?
I think we set that policy and make sure they stay up there for that amount.
Sort of like we said before.
2 years, 3 years.
I believe there's not a law that tells you how the minimum amount of time.
No, I mean, they have guidelines, and I'm not sure what the guidelines are, but yeah, they just want you to set that and then follow it.
2 weeks.
No.
Mr. Chair, I have a special presentation I would like to make.
Okay.
Um,
Getting ready to hit the gavel.
For those of you who don't know, this is Dr. Sheehan's last board meeting. I know that, I kind of was reading the tea leaves a little bit, but it came as a bit of a shock at Finance Committee, that not only was he stepping down as chair, but he was stepping down from the board overall. He started on the board on January 28th, 2015. So almost a full 10 years of, let's say, valiant service, probably a good adjective in this case. Valiant. Certainly appreciate Dr. Sheehan's direction. I know, especially in your previous stint as chair, that I needed to show up to these meetings prepared, being an old stats and probability and statistics professor. And although this was sudden, we certainly understand it. We hopefully you'll let us know if you ever need anything from us. But I would like to present you with the plaque if I could. And
It didn't deserve that.
I will read this. Coast RTA presented to Robert Sheehan, PhD, on March 27th, 2024, in appreciation of your commitment and service to the Board of Directors at Coast RTA, January 28th, 2015 through March 27th, 24. And we wish you well, and you need to take care of yourself, sir.
You're here.
You got to see our butts there online.
Yep. Oh, it just zoomed in. That is hilarious.
They did.
Best that can happen is you won't hear from me.
Well, I don't know about that, but we do have cake here after the meeting, if anybody would like to have a piece of cake. And Dr. Sheehan, we certainly appreciate your service, and thank you so much for everything. And again, if you ever need anything, you let us know.
Thank you all.
I promise that Bernie and I will keep asking the question on van pools.
Okay. Yeah, please, bug him about the van pool. I was trying to figure out how to get van pool into a commentary from the Lord Jesus. And last night, in the middle of the night, it made perfect sense. I mean, I really thought thinking this is cool. I didn't do it tomorrow. And then I woke up in the morning, it didn't seem so powerful. All right, all in favor of ending, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, y'all.
All right, thank you, Rob.
I'll have a piece of cake.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Sorry you guys can't be here, but we will chat with you soon.